Namo Narayan, courageous yogis, blessed self. Thank you for joining for our live workshop, free live workshop. Today we are talking about addiction recovery with Yoga Nidra. So we find that actually the true source of satiation and real pleasure and joy and happiness is within us. It is our own true nature. And yes, it's true that roses smell good and different things that we taste might also please the senses, please the palate. That's true. Nama Narayan Island girl. Yes, that is true. However, the source of satiation, joy, and bliss is our own true nature. It's us, actually. And that goes for all the things. So even when you think about what it is that you love most about things that you might not be able to do right now, like traveling, places that you've been in the past, if you think about it, it's not even those places that you really enjoy and miss the most. It's what it allows you to experience in yourself. It's how you interact and enjoy those places. All the outer world, it's just a catalyst for us to experience ourselves with. And so the truest pleasure is self-born. And the senses are just allowing us to actually access that self-pleasure. An analogy for this is how there's a story of a way to catch a wolf. And don't mind, it's a little bit graphic. I love dogs. I love all dogs and wolves, so I would never do this. But there's a story of the way to catch a wolf is to take a blade that already has blood on it from a deer or something like this, and they place it in the snow, and the wolf comes and starts licking the blood from the deer off the blade, and eventually it cuts itself and starts to taste its own blood. But it doesn't realize that it's its own blood and continues to lick. And eventually it thinks that it's tasting some other animal's blood, but it's actually its own, and it bleeds to death. And this is the way that you catch a wolf, according to this story. Stories usually told in relation to this same idea. The idea here is that it is not the objects of the senses that bring us pleasure, it is our own true nature. Pleasure is your own true nature. And we just have to become more aware to that. So I want to share with you guys some practices of Yoga Nidra that will help you to be able to transcend addiction, and some very powerful, useful tools. And in this session, we're going to be combining Yoga Nidra with NLP. For those of you who know what NLP is, NLP means Neuro-Linguistics Programming. And the basic idea is this. You can do this on your own. However, we're also going to be doing a complete session for Yoga Nidra addiction recovery next Sunday night on the channel. However, you can do this on your own. And the way that the basic idea here, the way that we do it is that first you're going to go through, number one, step one is the body scan. You're already familiar enough with this. When the body is relaxed, go ahead and do your sankalpa. Your sankalpa is your intent. And when you're choosing an intent for helping you to overcome an addiction, don't have a direct sankalpa or a direct intent for that addiction. Think about what is the strength that you need to develop in the structure of the mind to naturally transcend that. So what is it maybe that there's a part of you that you're neglecting? That there needs to be that basis there for you to be able to have first in order for you to naturally transcend your addiction. If you were to have this in your life, the transcendence of the addiction is a natural result. So we create that cause. What is that cause? What strength do you need in your mind, in your personality, that will help you to be able to transcend your addiction? That should be your sankalpa. So you're going to make your sankalpa after you're relaxed. And then the next stage, we've done body scan now, we've done your sankalpa. You can do this on your own because the body scan you know so well by now. We've done it so many times in the Yoga Nidras on this channel. And even if you don't know the exact sequence the way that I lead it, you've probably done body scan on your own way before sometime in your life. You've probably rotated your awareness throughout each body part, relaxing each body part, maybe while you were learning how to try to overcome insomnia or some other time. You can just do this simple body scan process on your own, then your sankalpa. Next, just general breath awareness, just watching the breath for a moment until the breath calms down. Now, once that the energetics I mentioned of your being is calm, because the breath is the catalyst of the emotions and the energetic dimension of our being, the pranamaya koja. So when we calm the breath, next we can go in and use this practice of NLP. In which case, I want you to just stop everything right now and visualize yourself sitting in the sweet spot of a cinema, of a movie theater. You know what I mean by the sweet spot. You're right in the middle, where the screen is right in front of you and all of the audio is directed exactly towards you. Now on this screen are images of your life. And actually this screen wraps all the way around you, 360 degrees, above you and below you as well. And on this screen, you keep those memories and the different parts of yourself in different areas. So if you can go ahead now and think about something that used to be true for you, but is no longer. Maybe it was a food that you used to like. Maybe it was a band or a type of music you used to like, but now you just don't. It's not that you dislike it, it's just you've outgrown it completely. Think of something like that you've outgrown completely. And see where you keep that film playing on this inner screen. Perhaps behind you or below you or below and behind you, somewhere off in the periphery like this. Just become aware of where that place is for you, where things are no longer true for you. Next, become aware of what's directly in front of you. Become aware of what is compelling your attention, what is right in front of you. And when your mind starts to make pictures, for example, enticing you, engaging you to want to engage in action that is maybe self-destructive, maybe is not leading to your highest potential. When you see those images starting to compel you towards your addiction, we can take those images in front of us, make them small, turn them to black and white, take the color out of it and make them small and move it away from you. And see that image now 6 feet away from you. A small little image in black and white. And notice how it's less compelling. And it's not drawing you in as much, and you notice a little bit of freedom over that. Now take that and move it all the way, make it even smaller, so it's like the size of a postage stamp, and move it all the way across the other side of the room. That little black and white image of whatever your desires were trying to entice you to before, it's now the size of a postage stamp, only in black and white on the other side of the room. And notice how it has even less effect over you, has even less power over you, even less influence. Now, let's take that little postage stamp and let's move it back into that place where things are no longer true for you. Move it back into that place, wherever it might be for you, that you keep those memories of things that you've outgrown. In this theater of the mind, like there's a screen wrapped all the way around you and 360 degrees above and below. Where do you see things that are no longer true for you? That's where now we're now going to move that little reduced black and white image, and it's no longer compelling, it's no longer true for you. And now you'll notice that there's a space in front of you, a empty void in front of you. And here you can start to see images of yourself healthy, happy, well, experiencing homeostasis, experiencing perfect health, total happiness. Make images of you living the disciplined, ideal life that you want to live for yourself, making healthy decisions, healthy choices, loving yourself, giving yourself whatever validation that you might not have been giving yourself before, or giving yourself whatever it is that you might have noticed during your sankalpa, when you're noticing what is the strength that I need to develop. You can start to build into that here with this image in front of you, seeing yourself exuding that strength. Whatever you know that strength is, you can make big images in your mind right in front of you, now replacing that void and locking that into place and bolting it into place so that it is now permanently there. And we can make it bigger, expand it so it's larger than life, make it in full color, and see the images of yourself strong, healthy, wise. Now, the other things that we need to cover for addiction recovery is stillness, developing stillness. Is in order to overcome impulsiveness. Impulsiveness is a big thing with all forms of addiction recovery. And in order to overcome impulsiveness, do any Yoga Nidra session. Any Yoga Nidra session that you find on the channel, not only mine, but others, and start off with a short meditation, ideally 20 minutes or under. Nama Narayan Liai. Preferably start off with a short meditation. And then as you go about developing, cultivating stillness, and really make the resolve that you will remain still during the whole session. Finally, got it. Make sure that you are making this resolve to stay still. This is the most important part in the beginning stages. So if the meditation, the visualization that I just described for you, the NLP visualization, if for whatever reason you want to continue to do that or not continue to do that, you might have only needed to do it one time, and now that's true for you. And now you can just start living that and start to develop stillness in order to develop self-control. And so as you go into Yoga Nidra, make the resolve to remain perfectly still, that you will not move your body, and then keep it. So that's why it's important to start with a shorter session first for addiction recovery. Start with something under 20 minutes. And then when you can stay still for the entire 20 minutes, then graduate up. Look for something in the 30 to 40 minute range. And then after a while, you can go up to an hour. And in this way, we start to develop more bodily control. Now, another thing happens here, and that is awareness. In Yoga Nidra, we start to go into such deep levels of relaxation coupled with awareness. And this high awareness is facilitated by high relaxation. And usually in that deep level of relaxation, we're not awake. When we go into the deep unconscious mind, for example, we're usually in deepest sleep. However, in Yoga Nidra, we are remaining wakeful. And we're bringing illumination into the unconscious. We are illumining the psyche. We are illuminating the subconscious and the unconscious and everything that hangs out there. And we are revealing our inner demons, and we are letting these things come out, releasing the prana that's been trapped there, because it takes a certain amount of prana in order to keep samskaras suppressed. And we are losing we're not having a certain access to a certain amount of bioenergy of prana, because this prana is invested in suppressing samskaras. So when we go on that level and we allow it to express itself, and by not engaging with it, by not indulging, we have to just witness it as if this is happening outside of ourselves. And when you can let these things come up fearlessly, having the courage to face whatever's within you, having the courage to let whatever surface level tension there might be, to just express itself, to be relieved and to come off, and to also go deeper within and have that fearlessness, that courage to let whatever might be deep within you to express itself as well. And just by the very nature of it expressing itself, it is therapy because it's releasing that trapped prana. We're releasing the prana can now express itself, it's out, and now that samskara has been disinvested. It doesn't have anything keeping it in motion. Prana means constant motion. Prana, constant motion. And it's keeping these different elements of our psyche in motion. So once then the prana has been released and expressed, it doesn't have any motion in your psyche anymore. It's not dominating you anymore. It's not influencing your thoughts and behavior anymore. It'll still be a memory somewhere back there, but it's not dominating your whole being and influencing all of your actions, verbal, mental, and physical. So cultivating awareness is incredibly important, and this solves the problem for us. Actually, when we can go deep within and start to reveal all the contents that are hidden within the psyche and the unconscious, this achieves the end goal in multiple ways. Not only do you eventually see what is the bitter root of this addiction, what is the real deep core of it, where is it really coming from? And when we can just observe from that third party, detached, silent witness perspective, without judging, without overanalyzing, when we can just allow whatever is within us to come up and see the whole thing without suppressing it like we usually do, then we can eventually, we have that awareness of it. Now it's not having an unconscious and subconscious effect on us. We transition from subconscious reactiveness and unconscious reactiveness to now conscious control. From reactiveness to actual responsiveness now. And this whole process of developing self-control is just a natural outcome of the awareness that happens as you bring wakefulness into relaxation. It's just a natural result of staying awake while we go into deeper and deeper states of relaxation. And that's all you have to do. We just have to go into, and that's why in Yoga Nidra we encourage you to stay awake. Some of you are just here to sleep, and that's beautiful too. What's more beautiful than pure sleep? Samadhi is sleep, except for you're awake for it. And so we try to cultivate wakefulness in yoga and the different yoga schools, because by going so deep into relaxation with that expansive awareness, now we identify the different samskaras that are actually the source of all of our different actions, our karma, and you also eventually start to recognize your truth. You start to encounter deep inner peace in the stillness of your being. You start to encounter bliss as just that basic inner being, that basic quality of your existence. Now, you don't have to recreate. It's just the most basic level of who you are. And when we reduce all the distractions, we minimalize all the distractions, that bliss unfolds naturally. And so this is what Yoga Nidra in general is helping us to do. So you can do any Yoga Nidra practice for addiction recovery with this in aim, with this, your sankalpa on building structure, building strength in the structure of your mind with your sankalpa, and cultivating stillness, and also doing the pairing of opposite sensations helps as well. When we go from one sensation to the other, when we go, for example, heaviness, then to lightness, and then from pain to pleasure, and then from heat to cold, what we're doing here is we're rotating our awareness around different parts of the brain that usually we're only exercising one. Usually we're only either thinking, oh, it's cold, it's cold, it's cold, or we're thinking, oh, pleasure, 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 or we're thinking, oh, gravity, heaviness, 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 but we're not usually thinking both, especially at the same time. And by oscillating your mind around both, you're building new neural pathways. You're learning how to become equanimous and detached from the pairs of opposites by rotating your awareness through them. You're developing this awareness to duality, that there's an opposite sensation to everything. And if you can just make yourself go from one to the other within a minute or two, then this is not your true nature. This is just a part of the changing outer world. It's not permanent. Right? This is not permanent. It's subject to change. And when we oscillate between these polar sensations, and then you can also experience them both at the same time. You can experience where on your body is there both pleasure and pain happening at the same time. And when we focus on that both happening at the same time, this is building new neural pathways, and this is gradually building self-control. This is bringing us out of unconscious reactiveness into conscious responsiveness, where you now have control. And eventually the heightened stages of this is when you can actually recreate these senses. You want to allow yourself to try to really feel them. And the reason we want to really recreate these sensations in this stage of Yoga Nidra is because if you can actually really vividly recreate any sensation, pain or pleasure, ergo, therefore, when any of these sensations are manifesting within you on their own, you can also stop them. You're developing the same muscle, and this is what this practice is helping us to do. So we want to have a vivid experience of each of these sensations, so that when pain does arise on its own, or when excessive coldness, or you can also do this pairing of sensations for emotions. You can imagine joy and then sorrow. You can imagine depression and then elation. And you can take yourself through the pairing of opposite emotions like this as well. And this is giving you emotional control. It's bringing unconscious reactiveness into conscious responsiveness. And actually, any Yoga Nidra practice can help you to overcome addiction. We want to be choosing something that's within our range, where we can stay awake for, because we want to cultivate wakefulness. We want to cultivate awareness. That's really the highest aim here. Developing stillness is definitely important to overcome just reactiveness and impulsiveness. But the real objective here is to cultivate awareness. And for this, any meditation practice will do, including Yoga Nidra, which is easy to do for those of us who, we all at some point hit rock bottom. We all at some point do. Unless you're super privileged, we all end up, and if you are, what a blessing. Be grateful for that. But most of us, at some point in our life, we do hit rock bottom. And the beautiful thing about Yoga Nidra is you can do it lying on your back. So what better place to do Yoga Nidra than rock bottom? And then we can grow from there forward with whatever challenges that we might be facing. And on the topic of addiction, addiction's not always necessarily a substance. Not all addictions are substance addictions. There's sexual addiction, and there's also ways that we use certain things as a crutch in our life. Instead of being present and having our soul being united with our body and mind and having this full life presence, we have different ways of deadening us to the world, different ways of turning ourselves off, reducing our full participation to the world. And we all do this in different ways. And in the beginning, what's important is that we just become aware of it. And for this awareness, meditation. And so it helps to have this objective in mind. It helps to know what we're aiming for. I mean, you can just start meditating and start doing Yoga Nidra. And most of you already have, that's why you're on the channel, and we have this certain amount of awareness already. But when we know a little bit of the theoretical aspect and some of the higher theories involved, it does give us a little bit more of an aim. And the aim here is just cultivating awareness, you guys. So there's these, to quickly recap, we can do these, there's 3 stages. If you want to do your own Yoga Nidra for addiction recovery, whenever you want, wherever you're at, you can do it lying down, you can do it sitting up, you can internalize this process and do it all the time, actually. I'm supposed to tell you not to do it while you're driving. I think then lawyers might come after me if I don't say that or something. But, so never while operating heavy equipment. But in general, we can just do body scan. As soon as you're physically relaxed, say your sankalpa, and then go into your breath awareness. Just allow the energetic dimension of your being to be calm, and then come into the cinema of Chittakash. Chittakash is the mental space in front of our closed eyes. It's where we see visions from in Chittakash. And see Chittakash as this huge circular cinema with a 360 screen going all the way around you. Where are things that are no longer true for you? Where do you keep those images in Chittakash? And then when things start to draw you in, negative thoughts come up that are trying to get you to do negative actions. We can take those, minimize them, make those images black and white, make them small, move them away from us, further away from us, until we notice that it doesn't have as much of an effect anymore. Then we take that image, move it back to wherever things are no longer true for you. You lock it in place. Hear an actual padlock clip. It's now locked behind you somewhere. Throw away the key. And now in front of you in that void, you start to fill that void with images of yourself exuding strength. Whatever is the strength that is the antidote to that previous negative behavior, which you've transcended. It's gone. It's no longer there anymore. You consciously decide everything you're going to do. We have that freedom to act. We do have free will to act. So moving forward, you can continue to be able to recall those images of strength, make them bigger, expand them, make them larger, full Technicolor, as big as a movie screen, as big as a drive-in theater. So you're sitting there in a drive-in theater lot, and you're seeing images of yourself larger than life, exuding confidence. Whatever is the strength that you need in your life right now, you can start by visualizing yourself exuding that. And then after that, any Yoga Nidra practice will do. So that is it for now. If you guys have any questions or any comments, thank you everybody for joining this free live workshop. If you want to do more workshops with me, we are offering workshops right now on tripurayoga.org. A lot of new content is on there, some exciting workshops, and I'm developing new workshops there all the time as well. So, set up Super Chat. I don't know about Super Chat. You're going to have to tell me more about that. And Adriana, thank you for joining. I'm so glad that your sleep has been improved with Yoga Nidra. What a blessing. And I try to, even myself, when I'm not having insomnia, I still try to do Yoga Nidra before I fall asleep at night, because you go into those alpha waves with Yoga Nidra before you sleep. Otherwise, we don't get those alpha waves. And by going into deepest relaxation before sleep, we notice that we are more relaxed when we wake up. We notice that we have more energy because we slept deeper. And as human beings with so much consciousness, we need deep, deep sleep in order to fuel all this high consciousness with cosmic energy, Mahaprana. Thank you, everybody, for... Oh, okay, interesting. Let's do math. Stefano, thank you for telling me about that. So we're also having a live community. If you guys want to join, it's free. Sunday mornings, we'd have a free live meditation session The first 30 minutes we meditate together, and the next 30 minutes we all just share. And it's not lecture, there's no lecture, it's just a meditation community, a sangha, so that we can have support in our meditation practice, also our spiritual practice, and even your personal practice. If you're going through stuff in your personal life and it comes up while you're meditating and you feel like you need to share that with a group, with a community, we are here not to judge. We are here committed to this practice of expansive awareness and transcending all the different dimensions of mind and all of its dualities, limitations. We're not interested in limitations. We're interested in transcending, going beyond. And that's it for now, everybody. Thank you so much. We have a lot going on right now with Tripura Yoga, and I want to invite you guys to participate. So go to the website, tripurayoga.org, see what's new. There's a new version of the website that's up, and it would be a real honor to be able to interact with you and to participate with you, because so many of you have only heard my voice and just seen me, and you're also incredible individuals with stories and so much to offer, and it would be awesome to be able to interact with you as well there. Thank you for joining me, courageous yogis. Have a blessed rest of your evening, and stay courageous. Be bold, and fearless. Hari Om. Tvameva mata, cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhu